Hello and a very happy Easter. My name is Janet and I'd like to share with you an event in my life that took place at Easter 1965. But first I'd like to read a few verses from the Bible that could very easily be subtitled Seeing is Believing. The verses are from John's Gospel, chapter 20, and starting to read at verse 18. Mary Magdalene, the one who had met risen Jesus in the garden, went and found the disciples as he told her to do. "I've seen the Lord," she said. Then she gave the disciples Jesus' message. That Sunday evening, the disciples were meeting behind locked doors because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders. Suddenly, Jesus was standing among them. "Peace be with you," he said. And as he spoke, he showed them the wounds in his hands and his side. The disciples were filled with joy as they saw the Lord. One of the 12, Thomas, with the nickname of the twin, wasn't with the others when Jesus came. So they told him, "We've seen the Lord." But Thomas replied, "I won't believe it unless I see the nail wounds in his hands and put my fingers into them and place my hand in the wound in his side." These were quite dramatic words from Thomas. My experience in 1965 wasn't quite as dramatic as that, nor did it happen on Easter Sunday. I'd not long been attending our home church in Bradford, and I went along to the Good Friday afternoon service, an hour at the cross. This was a quiet, meditative service, and Michael, our vicar, he was leading our thoughts and guiding our thoughts on the last hour of Jesus' life on earth. And as he spoke, part of that talk was that he stretched out one of his hands, and with the other, he lifted a very, very long and very heavy nail, and he placed it. And as he did, everything that I'd learnt in Sunday school, everything that I'd heard in church before, suddenly made sense. Everything slotted into place, just like a jigsaw puzzle, the last piece. I saw and understood why Jesus went through this horrific and agonizing death. He did it for me. It was just as if I was the only person in that church. Jesus had come to meet me there, and I knew that Jesus had died for me. Thomas needed proof, and the Bible tells us that 8 days later, Jesus appears again, this time to speak directly to Thomas. "Put your finger here," Jesus said, "and look at my hands. Put your hand into the wound in my side. Don't be faithless any longer. Believe." And Thomas's response? "My Lord and my God." When Jesus walked this earth, it's recorded in the Gospels that he stretched out his hands many times to heal, to feed, to serve his disciples by washing their feet. His hands were stretched out on that cross. And Jesus continues to stretch out his hands in love to each one of us today. How do you respond to such a love as that? As with Thomas and my own experience, Jesus comes to meet us individually. May we meet with him today and know the true meaning of Easter. Jesus has died. Jesus rose again. Jesus is alive. And Jesus has taken into heaven those very wounds for you and for me. May God truly bless us this Easter time and keep us in his care.